There's a lot of recruiters out there. I mean, there's, it's throw a, throw a, a ball down the street, and you probably hit two recruiters along the way. It's a very, there's a lot of people that do it. And I think, there's some that are great, and then there's some that are not so great. And I think taking a little bit more of that high level, high touch approach, I think really helps us differentiate. I mean, we, this year, I was looking at our kind of yearly totals. I think we helped 450 clients hire, in excess of 2,000 people. And so it's some pretty large numbers, but, and those are places we worked with for 3, 5, 10 plus years. And so, I think it just by spending the time to really understand our clients, understand what they're looking for, we ultimately just become an extension of them. And, and it takes a little bit of a change in mindset for companies where you realize, hey, this is something where I need to make sure I get the right best people in, and I need to invest in a partnership versus just, being seen as another vendor. And I think that's what we really work hard to separate ourselves from. When we made our first switch, we used to just do technology recruiting, right? And then we started an HR practice where we'd help our companies hire internal recruiters and build that out. And, a lot of companies don't want to do that because it helps companies stop using you. But the fact is, they're going to stop using you regardless. If they're committed to going a different direction, you might as well help them get there versus let somebody else do it. It's sort of our philosophy. So, you create a stronger long-term relationship by not only selling one thing and not being able to help companies through their journey as they evolve. We're going to do, upwards of, 50 million in revenue this year. And that's with no real sales force, right? It's all just kind of relationship sales and leveraging off kind of what we have. And then you just, you could hire an army of kind of BDRs, and they couldn't replicate what we have because you can't beat those relationships. As you said, when you the head of HR and you've worked with that person for 5 or 10 years, you can't get that person on the phone these days, but if they know who you are, they'll talk to you, and they hopefully come to you, proactively. Values clearly are important. When we were smaller, I never really never thought too much of that, right? It was pretty simple. Just, work hard and don't be an asshole, right? It's sort of what we're always talking about. And then, over the past, as we grew, we started to put them together and we talked about, leading with, being, empathetic, high integrity, being resilient, just being able to, get the job done, innovative, all these different kind of buzzwords that quite frankly, everybody else sort of talks about. So we are going through, it is obviously part of the EOS process, but, it's sort of an exercise we've talked a lot about over the last, month or two. And there's a pretty good chance we go back to what we originally were, work hard, do right by your clients, and don't be an asshole.